What's up YouTube? This is going to be our guide on how to use Scizor in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I'll be providing competitive movesets and some fun meme movesets too. If there's a Pokemon you'd like to see me cover, put it below in the comment section of the video. And if you enjoy this, if it helps you out, drop a like on the video and let's get into it. So Scizor obviously is an extremely useful Pokemon in many different teams, and it has such a great typing with Bug and Steel, only being weak to Fire. Now, looking at its stats, we've got a thumping attack stat, solid defense, and reasonable health stat, and special defense all around there. It's obviously its speed is a little bit to be desired, but it's got the tools to get around that. The abilities we've got here are Swarm, Technician, and Light Metal. Most of the time, people are going to be using Technician because it learns a lot of moves that are 60 base power or less, and that gives it a 1.5 power boost as well. And its main move, Bullet Punch, gets a mega boost from that, which is going to be useful on pretty much every Scizor set that you are ever going to see. So first thing here, we've got a Choice Band set. This works pretty well in singles, doubles, whatever rule set you want to play. You can tweak it a little bit depending on what team you're running. So there's a couple of ways you can give it EVs as well. But we'll go over its moves first. So U-turn is a very good move on Scizor as pivot. It just can U-turn out of any unfavorable matchups, and it does like a lot of damage as well. And it can set up any of your other incoming Pokemon, right? Any Intimidate users or any good swap-ins there. It's also useful for other Pokemon that have got like Volt Switch as well, so you can use Volt Switch and U-turn on other Pokemon to get some really nice synergy. And a lot of the time you'll be using Bullet Punch on it. So Bullet Punch is a priority move, and it's going to get the Technician boost on top of it. Some good coverage move to run on it are Knockoff. You're very handy at getting rid of items and such, and Close Combat. Close Combat is very good for hitting Steel-type Pokemon and Rock-type Pokemon. In the past, it used to have Superpower. Now it's got Close Combat. So it's got a very nice fighting move there. Yeah, just for coverage reasons. And any incoming Steel-type Pokemon predicting a Bullet Punch, you can go ahead and punish them with Close Combat. So with the EVs, I would build it bulky. I don't really see a lot of point putting speed into Scizor at all because it's not a fast Pokemon. It never will be. Unless you're really trying to specifically outspeed a certain Pokemon or a specific rule set, I feel like it's just pointless because you're going to be using Bullet Punch a lot of the time anyway, which is going to be going first. So health gives it some great bulk as well. And once again, it's only really weak to fire. So everything else is either going to be neutral or not very effective. So I think giving it health EVs is a pretty smart play. Rest into health and obviously into attack, and we've got Adam and Nature, so that's going to be hitting very, very hard. You could also... You've got Steel-type Terra, which is good on Scizor for sure, but there are a couple of Terra types that you could possibly run on there as well. You can do like a defensive Terra of like, say, Water. That's quite a good defensive one, so any Fire-type moves, you can obviously not be affected by that. That's a good defensive one. You could possibly do Bug, but I would say Steel's probably the best one on there for offensive because it's going to do a lot of damage with Bullet Punch, and it's going to be going first. So I would probably opt for Steel there. You might be able to cheese something like Stellar to try and give some nice like a boost to some of the other type of moves, but that's more, I feel like it's more gimmicky, and Steel is probably going to be your best bet there for Terra. Another one you could have as well is Fire, because if you do that into Fire, you're going to resist any of those Fire-type moves, and you might even be able to, I'm not sure, you might even be able to have Terra Blast on there as well, so you could have your own Fire move, and then maybe you could drop Close Combat. So you'll be able to hit Steel-type Pokemon and add something else on there like Knockoff or anything like that, that would work on there. So the next set I would definitely run on Scizor is Sword Dance. Choice Band and Sword Dance are its best sort of strategies it has. And let's have a look at this. So there are a few items that you could run on Scizor. I like to run either Lumberry, you've got Life Orb, and you could even run Assault Vest on some non-Sword Dance variant sets. So the EVs I like to run bulky on there as well, as pretty much like the other one. Health and attack with Adam and Nature. We've got Sword Dance. So Sword Dance is going to give you a +2 and attack, and then you can freely go for Bullet Punch then. Close Combat for coverage. That's going to be nice for Steel types, and Knock Off as a means of just getting rid of items and a little bit of coverage as well. There are quite a few coverage moves that you can use. Another one is Dual Wing Beat. That's not too bad either. It does a very big amount of technician moves that you can actually use. I have seen some people have U-Turn on a Sword Dance set, but I don't like U-Turn and Sword Dance together. I think it's not all that good, because you need to, if you're going to boost your attack up, there's not really much point in using U-Turn. Or you have to use Sword Dance at the right time, and then you can't really use a bug move without swapping out. So if you really, really want a bug move on there, you could opt for something like Bug Bite. Bug Bite does get a boost from Technician. It gets the highest boost, and it also has a berry. You can be eating berries as well, so that's another option that you could run. Another item you could go on Scizor could be Ockerberry, to help you live a fire type move. Generally, this is going to be a physical fire move. You're not really going to be living like special ones, because its defensive stats pretty nice. Maybe a very, very, very like weak special move, but that's another item you can go for there too. Life Orbs, another good item for Scizor too. That's going to be pretty handy, and you're going to be doing like a lot of damage. Another one you could run too is Citrus Berry. So Citrus Berries is going to be there. Say you go for Sword Dance, and you take some damage, take a fair bit of damage. Citrus Berry is going to help you out there getting some more recovery. So you might even be able to like tie that in with something like Acrobatics, so that could work too, like another option there. But there's quite a lot of moves that this Pokemon can learn. It's a very, very good Pokemon for sure. You've also got stuff like Aerial Ace too, if you want a move on there that doesn't that has no chance of missing. That could work too. So that's another option. As for the Terra types, exactly the same sort of Terra types as the the first build there. So you've got like Steel, Fire, Water. Pretty much. If you've got any other Terra types that you use on Scizor, let me know. But they're sort of like the main ones you're going to be seeing all the time, and that you would definitely would expect, right? So that's like the two sort of main sets here. I'd say they're more singles based, but you could definitely use them in doubles for sure. Next one we got here is we got a few VGCs double style sets. These ones are pretty similar anyway, except you might have to swap the items around and a few like little moves here. So same sort of EV spread. Once again, if you're trying to outspeed specific Pokemon, you can always give it a speed EVs if you want to. I just feel it's better all around like bulky. And I feel it works that way, because it's not going to be outspeeding anyway, using a move apart from Bullet Punch. So this one is pretty much the same as the Choice Band set. Once again, you can use Choice Band in doubles for sure. That would absolutely work. You've got U-Turn, Bullet Punch, Close Combat, and a Dual Wing Beat. Dual Wing Beat is actually kind of handy because it can get around, like, say, something like Disguise or a Focus Sash or a Sturdy. Those are sort of things, and Terra Steel as well. The Terras are pretty much, very, very similar. The item I give this, or one of the items you give it, is Clear Amulet. That can prevent any, like stat dropping and stuff like that from like, say, Intimidate and stuff, because, you need all your attack with Scizor. So that could definitely work for sure. Looking at another Scizor set here, this is more of a bulkier set. With Assault Vest, so we've got Terra Blast Water, or you could do Terra Blast Fire, depending on what team you've got. You could run this along with something like Pelipper and Drizzle, so you could work Scizor onto the Rain team. Plus, Pelipper's a very good partner for it as well, because Pelipper can really swap into those fire moves very, very easily, and set the Drizzle up too, which would, then you could go for Terra Blast Water, and that would give you some great offensive against the opposing fire type Pokemon, and Rock and that sort of thing. We got Bullet Punch and U-Turn. That's going to be working very nicely, and Dual Wing Beat as well. Dual Wing Beat would be quite handy for Grass Pokemon too, if you did Terra, and that sort of thing there, and you get your Technician boost. Same EVs. I like these EVs. They work well on it. There are things you could go for as well. Like, you could, like, more gimmicky stuff. Just for example, if you had a Sword Dance set, or you didn't have a Sword, you could try like Agility, but I don't think there's any point because most of the time you're using Bullet Punch anyway. So yeah, or U-turn. You're going to be using U-turn or Bullet Punch most of the time regardless, right? So that's how I would go about using Scizor for singles, doubles, any sort of like rule set you're going. It's going to be working very well. There's not a lot of point running its other abilities here. They're more gimmicky. Light Metal, I mean, if you had Terra Steel and you didn't want to take as much damage with Low Kick or something like that, that's kind of like specific, but that's about it. That's pretty much anything, all I can think of that would be useful. Swarm can be interesting on Scizor if it's got like low health, example, but if you need to have something like Leech Life. If it had something like Leech Life, that would actually be pretty good because you could get your health back, but it doesn't really have that, so there's no real point in running Swarm. And you're not going to be going first anyway with a Bug-type move, so yeah, that's why Swarm isn't so good on Scizor. And a lot of its moves are Technician-based. This Pokemon is all based around Technician. Some other moves you can have on there as well are like Quick Attack, if you want some more priority. Quick Attack is... It's a normal type move. It's pretty much going to be there, for you to finish off with some other stuff. But you do have Bullet Punch too, and most of the time you're going to be using that. So there's not too much, room to use Quick Attack at all. Now, this sort of set here that we showed before in doubles, you could also drop Dual Wing Beat or give it Sword Dance. You could do that. But once again, you've got like U-turn and stuff, so I don't know. You could run Choice Band on there too. That would definitely work. Like this banded set that I showed before, that could definitely work. The moves I was explaining before, that definitely would work. And yeah, you got quite a few items that you could use there. There are some good teammates that you could possibly use on there as well. I'm going to go over some of them. I'm just trying to think of any other items that you could possibly have. Like, if you really want, like, you could have Metal Coat. That's a bit gimmicky, though, but Metal Coat could give you, like, an extra boost in power on Bullet Punch without losing any health from, like, Life Orb. That's one you could try as well. There's really not, or I think it was Iron Plate as well. I think that does the same thing, like Iron Plate. Yeah, Iron Plate, same kind of thing. And then we had Citrus and Ockerberry. We sort of already talked about those ones. But yeah, there's quite a few items that you can use for that as well. If you want, you could put Protect on there as well if you're not really interested in having Dual Wing Beat on there. Protect is obviously still very handy. Yeah, that's another option you can run for doubles. So let's have a look at now. I'll go over some of these meme sets that I've got here, and then we're gonna go over some teammates and how to go about countering Scizor and such like that, and then some sort of final thoughts on some of the moves that it's got left. This is a bit of a fun set. It's a Fury Cutter set, so it does get Fury Cutter, which is a very, very powerful attack, bug move that as you use it incrementally, it gets more powerful each hit. Now, I thought you could go about running this with a cool Metronome set. So Metronome is an item, basically. If you keep using consecutive moves, it gets more powerful, just like Fury Cutter. So this gets up to a maximum base power of 160, which is, no joke, even on resisted targets. And I thought you could have Terra-type Bug as well. Bullet Punch just to finish anything off there, like annoying fairy types or Pokemon on low amounts health. Close combat for any steel types that get in your way, and agility to make it go first, because we're not really, Fury Cutter is not a priority move, obviously. So, that with this build here, you'd be able to go first. So you've got like Adamant Nature and Max Speed, and after agility, you're getting well over into 400 speed, which is very, very fast. At level 100 or, where are you at, like level 50 or stuff like that, it'll be like 200-ish. So, yeah, very, very quick. And then we got like Terra Bug and for Fury Cutter. So, an idea you could run for Scizor. This Scyther sort of does it a little bit better because it's faster. You don't have to worry about, using agility or anything like that, but it can still run it because it resists a lot of moves, like a ton of moves, and it's only really weak to fire as well. So after you had a good amount of Fury Cutters up, it would hit a fire type very, very hard as well, even if it resisted it. But more of a gimmicky set there, but maybe you could give that one a try. This last one here is a Pimp Knight special. This is a special set, absolutely terrible, but I wanted to do it anyway. So this is Special Scizor. It gets very, very little special moves at all. So I thought you might be able to run like a special set here with Throat Spray. It gets Swarm as well. I really want to try out Swarm. So at a third less of health, we're going to get a 1.5 in Bug moves. So you've got Bug Buzz there. It goes through Sound Move. It goes through Substitute. Can be handy for that, and activate Throat Spray. Agility to increase its speed by 2. Steel Beam, going to be hitting very, very hard there, but using it sparingly. And then we got Terra Blast Fighting for any any of those Steel type Pokemon coming in. So an interesting set, but you use that one with caution because it's not going to be very good, but it's going to be a fun set to use regardless. Let's now have a look at some Pokemon that would work well on the same team as Scizor. Probably the best, I reckon one of the best teammates for it would be Rotom Wash. It's just a really, really good synergy, and it can deal with a lot of the main weakness of Scizor, which is Fire type Pokemon. So I really like that. Another one you can use. Scizor likes to have like any entry hazards on the field too, because it's a great like mid to late game sweeper. So if there's any entry hazards you can put on the field, are good. Toxapex is a good one too. That can set up any toxic spikes, any poison and stuff like that. It resists a lot of the stuff that Scizor is weak to, which is mainly fire. And yeah, quite a good partner for it as well. Some other Pokemon you could possibly run on there, like good special attacker on there for doubles would be something like Sylveon's not bad as well. That could be a good. I have done a Sylveon guide as well if you want to check that out. But that would be a good Pokemon in there as well. Good, especially in doubles, you could spam Hyper Voice and with Pixelate, they'll do like a lot of damage. And then Scizor could easily come and finish them off if they do manage to live there. So that's another good idea for sure. Another cool little strategy you can use in doubles as well, because Scizor is kind of slow, right? So I figured you could have something like maybe like a Sableye with like Quash. I like Quash. It's a really cool move. So Sableye is the best Prankster Quash user in the game. Not that it has a lot of competition. So Quash, you can force like Scizor to go first as well. So that could be quite handy on something that's not Bullet Punch. You know what I mean? So like you could have it like Iron Head. You could try Iron Head out, or a more powerful Steel, or just use other moves like close combat and U-turn and stuff like that. So that's not a bad little partner, and you could also spread like Will-O-Wisp and things like that too. I haven't actually done a Sableye guide, so maybe that could be one if anyone's interested in that. But there are a couple of other ones too. I think it was Ribombee. This is more like. This is more, probably more gimmicky stuff here, but you've got like, I'm just looking for the move. If it has it, I don't actually know. I don't think that, I do not think that it has it. That's not in the game anymore. So many moves are removed from the game, but some other good Pokemon that you could run alongside that. Let's just have a look. Even on a rain team, we'll have a look at water type going on. There's a lot there. So you've got Dondozo. That's a good partner. We got Ogerpon Wellspring. That's not too bad either. Another good one you could run on there would be Palafin Hero. That could be good as well. So there's a lot of good Pokemon that could absolutely work with Scizor. It's a very, very good Pokemon for sure. You can even have a Alomomola too as a regenerator Pokemon. Or regenerate a Pokemon in general, right? Because you've got like a lot of U-turning going on, and there's like a lot of swapping. But I like Rotom a lot. Rotom's Wash is probably the best because you've got like Volt Switch, and you've got good momentum with U-turn and Volt Switch as well. So that works very, very well with these sort of attackers. Now to counter Scizor, obviously a Fire type Pokemon. So let's think of Volcarona. That's a good Pokemon that can counter Scizor. Plus, it also threatens to burn it with Flame Body as well. So Scizor needs to be very careful when it's around Volcarona. Probably the only way to beat it would be like Terra Water or something like that. That would be about it. Even then, this is a very, very scary Pokemon. Any fire, like there's a lot of Fire type Pokemon that could completely shut it down. Like Cinderace is another one as well. That could absolutely destroy it. Chi-Yu would have to. You got Chi-Yu as well. There's a lot of Fire-type Pokemon. This seriously keeps them. So, yeah, any Fire-type Pokemon can virtually shut down. A Skeledirge is a good one. So Skeledirge, especially if unaware, that could absolutely destroy Scizor. Scizor can hit it with Knockoff. That's probably about all it's really going to do to it. So, and then it can just like wipe it with one Torch Song and get a boost. So there's some good teammates and some good counters for it. A good counter for this as well. This is more specific stuff, but something like Farigiraf with Armor Tail could work as well. Any priority moves like Psychic Terrain Pokemon. So, like Psychic Terrain could definitely work very well at shutting that down. There's a few Pokemon that get that. Slowpoke Gala. I think Armorogue gets it. Actually, Armorogue would be a good one. Armorogue, it's being a fire type as well. That could be a good counter too. Fire type and setting Psychic Terrain up. So another way to get around it. So some good ideas there just to think about for teammates and some counters. Let's have a look at its moves, all of its moves there, and some last minute thoughts on Scizor. So it does get Baton Pass if you do want a Baton Pass stats, or you can do that in your rule set. You can do that. It's got like Baton Pass, Sword Dance, Agility. It's got like tons of things, Substitute. What else we got here? It does get Defog as well, so you can run it as a bulky set, like a defensively bulky set that can clear U-turn, Defog, Bullet Punch, stuff like that to clear any hazards out if you want to. Unfortunately, it does it on your side of the field, so you don't want to really have a team that's based around putting them down there. So I feel that could be a bit counterproductive. It can set up Tailwind as well. It can't really do too much else. It can set up, it's funny enough, it can set up like Rain and Sun and Sand, all of them. This works well on any Sand teams as well, like Tyranitar. It's a good, it worked well with Tyranitar on a Sand team. Some other physical moves, let's have a look at that. So we've got Bullet Punch and Close Combat being probably its two most used move there. And then we've got Dual Wing Beat, Knockoff as well, Quick Attack, U-Turn. I'd say U-Turn's one of its very used moves as well. So you've got Trailblaze if you want to try and boost its speed. It is Technician as well, so you could give that a go. That might be interesting. I like Trailblaze and Sword Dance, something like this. That could be interesting because you'd be going very fast then, and you could have like Bullet Punch on top of there with Technician. And then I'd have something like Close Combat. Yeah, that could actually work pretty nicely. You could still have like 400 speed, but you would need two Trailblazers up to outspeed any kinds of Pokemon. I'd be inclined to run Lumberr in that because you're probably going to get burned by something. Or Statist. So you could have a set like that. Just made that up on the spot. That could be interesting to boost its speed. We can't forget Trick Room either. So if you do have a Trick Room Pokemon, we'll go back to the Choice Band set I was talking about. Singles or doubles, this could work in. Adjust this to Brave and the IVs to 0, and that could work reasonably well in a Trick Room team. It's not a very fast Pokemon, so I could definitely see that one, working there for sure. Whatever Terra you're using, Steel, Fire, Water, whatever, that could definitely work there on a Trick Room team. And you've got Priority as well, so that could be quite nice. So we'll have a look at some more stuff here for Scizor. Just make sure we get everything. At this point in time, too, if you're ever watching this guide, there's no Mega Scizor in the game, so I can't do a Mega Scizor, any stuff like that, but maybe you'll come back. It does get Airways, we went over that. Bug Bite is an option. U-Turn is a lot preferred because you get like a lot of pivoting done, which is great. And it sets a lot of stuff up. Incineroar is a very good partner as well. I forgot to sort of like mention that. But it's good on every team. But Incineroar is great because it's got Intimidate, it's Fire type, and you've got a ton of other moves it can have. Once again, I've done a lot of Incineroar on Incineroar already, so that's a great partner for it too. Just thought I'd mention that. And then, where were we? So we were looking at some more other options for physical moves. There's not too much other stuff there. Oh, it gets Hard Press. Hard Press is an interesting move. So basically, the more health the target has, the more damage it's going to do. Now, the thing about Hard Press is it'll do a lot of damage on Scizor. I've sort of played around it with Metagross as well. If you don't faint them, maybe you could do something like this. Like, this is more gimmicky, obviously. You could have something along the lines of Hard Press and Bullet Punch. So Hard Press, you hit them for a really, really big amount of damage. Say if they have a bit of health left, you finish them off with Bullet Punch. That's a bit of gimmick, though. But that's another option that it does get there. If it's got a low amount of health, it's not going to do much. So, yeah, just something to think about there. Hard Press is an interesting move. Looking at its physical moves, I think we sort of gone over everything here. You might be able to make use of something like Pounce, dropping speed, or Skitter Smack, but most of the time U-Turn, even Bug Buzz, even Fury Cutter are going to outclass those moves, even Scizor, right? So yeah, even Lunge, right? Lunge could be interesting on like a defensive tank kind of set there. Yeah, that's pretty much it for Scizor, I would say. Oh, let me show you its special moves. They are absolutely amazing. So there's a special move. So that's, we went back to that special one I did earlier on. It's terrible on the special side. So yeah, I had to go at making definitely a few special Scizor sets in my time, and they were horrendous. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Overall, Scizor is a great physical Pokemon with a very incredible typing and a good ability that supports that, and it just has the right enough amount of moves to use to make it a good Pokemon for any move slot on any team. I hope you enjoyed this guide, people. If you did, if it helped you out, got you thinking, drop a like there. Leave a comment if you've got anything else to add there. Maybe you got a set that works well for you. I didn't maybe mention it. If there's a Pokemon you want to see me cover, put it below in the comment section of the video, and I'll catch you next time. Peace out.